Hello!
Hey guys! Welcome to episode 2 of February Feels. And look at my special guest.
Husband.
Well, it's a special episode, so Chardonnay. There! Yay! Cheers, everyone. Drinking Chardonnay, not a red today, but I'm wearing red. Cheers!
Cheers.
Oh! So for today's episode, I want to talk about how it's like to be married to a nurse in a pandemic. Featuring, introduce yourself.
My name is Gian Milanes. I am a graphic designer and the main designer and illustrator for Kinda Fit, Kinda Fat. And I am Mia's husband. Look at this.
Oh my gosh! As Gian said, he is a graphic designer, which is a completely different field from nursing. So we're definitely gonna have a lot of different outlooks on things. So I really just wanted to ask him how it's been like to see where I'm coming from. I've always been told or asked if it's hard to be with someone who is not a nurse because they don't technically understand what I'm going through. They don't really understand the things that I've seen. But I think the positive thing about it is he's able to bring me back to like the other reality in some sense. The things that I see at work isn't necessarily the world. So it's nice to come home to that too, you know? I just have a few questions and we're just gonna have a whole conversation about all that, all the feels, so.
Feels.
Are you nervous? You need to drink more.
Yeah.
She's looking at you.
So I also do, or I have experience in video editing. So I'm usually behind the camera.
Oh.
So I hate this.
It's fine. A little background, how long we've been together?
Coming up 9 years.
Yes. So,
But married since 5 months
wow.
as of this video.
Yep. So we've been together through it all, like college, me going through nursing school, starting my career. Both of us kind of starting our careers too. But this is kind of the first time that we are living together and we really see how each other deals with things from work and being together during the pandemic. First things first, how's it like to be with someone in a night shift schedule?
For me, for a person like me, I guess, it's not necessarily lonely. There are sometimes it feels lonely because I'm an 8 to 5er, right? But I'm also constantly doing something. There are a few times where, you know, Mia has like 3 in a row, right?
Terminology.
I don't see her in the morning. Well, I used to not see her in the morning then. Now I'm able to at least make her breakfast when she gets home. And then I go to work, and I come home, and she's not home. But that's okay, because I'm also the type of person as an artist who doesn't make as much as nurses. I also pick up side jobs, so I'm always, you know, I try to constantly be doing something to keep my mind off of like being bored and being alone. Sometimes it gets hard because when you're with someone that works night shift, sometimes you have discussions as a couple. Being together for 9 years, we're still growing with each other. So there can be some times where you are in mid subject or like mid conversation with something, or like in the middle of like a deep conversation, and then you don't see her for 3 days. So you're kind of left basking
Interesting.
with your thoughts. And I'm also an overthinker. So sometimes it can get hard that way.
Well, because if I work 3 in a row, I pretty much just go to work, sleep, go to work for those 3 days.
And then when she comes home, like when she's back from her 3 days, she's exhausted. So then I have to wait another 3 days to continue where we left off. And then I have 1 day to finish one deep conversation.
So differences in fields. Since I'm in nursing, I feel like the drive is definitely different. When I see him work from home, I can definitely see like more passion, and he's having so much fun doing his job. You know, that's commendable, and I do get jealous because he loves it so much, and then I feel like I have to go to work and I have to deal with so much stress, and being in a pandemic just adds more to it, that I feel like I want a job that I'm passionate about. I feel like sometimes nursing becomes like just a means to an end, and I don't want to see it that way since we are saving lives, but recently it hasn't felt like that. It's just like I'm going into a job that stresses me out and then I just get nothing from it. So I don't know. Having a difference with our fields, it's like I get a different perspective and a positivity that there are other options, even if I felt like I didn't have that option choosing nursing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to add on to that?
Yeah. I think it's subjective to where your passions are, because I'm sure there are passionate nurses, right? But knowing Mia, I know it was her passion before, but with the pandemic, I noticed how much it's been draining and how much her attitude changes. And for me, seeing that, it made me sad, because when we were in college together, even in her studies, as stressed out as she was, there was still like a spark of like, I can do this, right? But I think it was until like after we started our careers that it changed the dynamic of our relationship sometimes, and it really defined like who is the more positive one in the relationship. Because it's me. Coming from my field of work, and this is also subjective because I'm sure there are also troubled designers and artists, right? But like for me at least, it's still freeing when you get that stride of like, I have something going right now. And like you just push through for hours, but it's like hours that feel like minutes, you know? And that's kind of the high that Mia sees, which she used to get early on, but now is like, is this really for me, right? And I know, knowing Mia, a creative outlet was her source of like freedom in a way, like a way for her to express herself. Because being a nurse too, and seeing all these like sad things, she would like internalize those things and try to like push those emotions back, to a point where she started pushing them so far back she couldn't snap back when she comes home. Me being very emotional, it was hard to get through to her when I wanted some type of affection or emotion. So it became apparent since the pandemic, because of how many deaths there have been. It drew like a hard line between like my positive outlook on most things and Mia's like, I see bad things every day this past year. How can I think that there is good, you know? and it's a struggle between like finding that balance. But I think it's good because at the same time we're both teaching each other how real the problems are. Because I know if we weren't together and we weren't together to balance each other's like perspectives out, I would be probably not responsible and like doing dumb stuff during a pandemic. And Mia would probably be like Grumpy the dwarf living in a cave all alone. To avoid that, we got married.
Stupid. No, but really though, like not being in the same field, I feel like has helped me emotionally, I guess, because I feel like if we're both nurses, we'd just be in like this hole of like
where dwarves live.
stop. Yeah, we'll just be like so negative and we wouldn't know how to pull each other out, because if that's all we see together, then that's all we'll know, and we can't really like see anyone else during a pandemic.
No, that's subjective.
That's true.
For
that is
people with our types of personalities, because I'm sure there are very like go-getter, positive like people in like the health field and stuff.
Well, that's true.
Don't get us wrong.
We
don't want to generalize.
That's true.
Yeah.
At least just for us is what I think. So next topic is me being jaded. Seeing the things that I've seen.
When Mia comes home and she's just so jaded from like all of her experience at work, seeing death and stuff like that. She comes home numb and I cook her breakfast and she's just like, thanks. Or like she comes home and like I cook her breakfast with a smile and she's just like, why aren't the dishes done yet? I'm just like, I'm so sorry, I'm late to breakfast. You know? So it's a little hard, but she knows that it's not healthy, and having this as an outlet, she's able to turn on the switch of feelings. Yeah. And I love feelings.
Yes, he does. When I would actually tell you stories, like how did they make you feel? How did it affect you knowing I was seeing this and I was experiencing that pretty much every day at work?
It makes me sad. You know, I sometimes don't know how to react.
Do you feel like you have to disregard the things going on at work because I tell you that I have it really bad? Or do you feel like you can still open up to me and be like, well, it's still bad like for us?
Sometimes, but for the most part I can share like my frustrations about work with you, because like you understand a little bit because your dad kind of does the same thing that I do. There have been times where you put what you're going through over what I'm going through, and I think that's when it becomes like difficult. And it becomes, you know, those times where I have to like communicate to you like, I understand that your problems are bigger than mine, but to me my problems need someone, like I need someone to confide in. You know, and I need that understanding. It's that difference between like, I know I have problems going on, but I need to be there for you, versus like, I don't have time to hear your problems because my problems are bigger. It's putting that selfishness aside of what you're going through and like listening to someone you care about's problems and putting your attention to that just for a moment for that person, you know? So I think it's more of that. Like if I have problems at work and stuff, like I can tell you with no problem, but it's when the problems get to both of us and it becomes like a competition, when it's just like we both have our own issues and we need to be there for each other type of thing, you know? So learn from that.
Stemming off of that, how did you feel like my coping skills have evolved? Do you feel like they have since like the beginning of the pandemic to me starting my passion project?
They only improved recently because of your passion project. into understanding different types of ways to communicate, different types of like perspectives and coping strategies, right? It's just opened you in general, you know what I mean? And like that, to me, was older Mia, or like younger Mia, I guess, right? You were much more like, you became hardened from like the pandemic because you were just faced with the reality, like, bam! Every day, you know? And then it kind of made you realize how like draining it is of you, you know? And you realize you couldn't snap out of work mode, and it kind of like became difficult for me to have someone who would understand me and like who would even open up to me, right? Before your passion project too, like you started to realize you weren't passionate about what you were doing anymore. And like your passion came from creativity, right? It made me remember when you were vlogging before. You would just tell me how excited you were about the experience and meeting new people, and it became like this totally like different you, but really just a more open you, because that's how you actually are when your guards are down, or when your walls are down, I should say, right? And that's the side of you that like I love, you know? So with doing this, you're learning different like coping mechanisms. You're talking to different people and how they deal with certain situations differently than you do. And you're getting more of an open mind. You know, maybe having my walls up isn't a good thing all the time, right? And I think those are good bridges for you to understand the opposite type of person, which, you know, could be a person like me who have no walls.
He has no walls.
Yeah.
Damn.
And now I'm just like telling you, I feel like when you put your walls down, people enjoy you more, you know? Because when your guard is up, people get intimidated. They feel like they can't open up to you because you're so contained. People will like who you are if you put yourself out there, and that's what you're doing, you know.
I'm gonna cry now.
And you're slowly seeing that, like how supportive.
I'm gonna cry now.
How supportive everyone is for you, you know. Yeah. So that's what I think of the passion project.
I think having married a creative person has helped me push for that also. You know, I feel like if I didn't have that, I would just be stuck where I am, feeling like this is what I'm supposed to do and I'm just supposed to live the rest of my life doing this. And I probably would have hated myself for it. Seeing him pursue that has empowered me to think I can also, but still have this skill that I've acquired through the years.
That you can pursue your passions within the means of like your career and stuff, you know. I think the old you was okay, now I'm a nurse, now I have to be an NP, you know. Now it can be, I'm a nurse, but I also like to create content. You know what I mean?
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Thank you.
Do things that make you happy. And put your drive in what you're passionate about.
Oh.
Commit time into what you're passionate about, and I think that's the way to go.
Like you don't have to enclose yourself necessarily into what you think you should be doing.
Yeah.
Because of what society tells you, what your parents tell you, what financially you think you should do.
Yeah, like you don't have to be rich to be my girl, and you don't have to be cruel to rule my world.
Oh my god, it was such good advice, and then I think that was a productive talk.
I hope so. I hope people learn from it.
It opened conversations for us, and we're still learning. I'm still growing. We both are.
Yeah.
We're still trying to navigate how to deal with each other, how we deal with things, and how to deal with it together. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, marriage ain't easy. But love is real.
So happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you for tuning in for another episode of February Feels. I hope you got a lot of feels from that.
And a lot of Februarys.
Ah!
Bye.
Bye. We gotta do my goodbye.
Hey. Bye.
Thank you guys.
Alcohol.
Alcohol. That's
Alcohol good. Alcohol good.
Oh my gosh.